In this video, we're going to have a look at creating a WooCommerce site with Oxygen Builder, but we're not going to be using the WooCommerce add-on from Oxygen. We're just going to do it straight into the standard Oxygen install. So here we have a newly created website, and you'll see that it's bog standard. And now I'm going to head over here to the plugins, and you'll see that we don't have any plugins installed at the moment. The first one that I'm going to activate then will be the latest version of WooCommerce. And you'll see that when WooCommerce activates, that it does take you to a screen where you can go through a couple of places to set up, the company details. But what we're going to do is we're going to skip the setup. So we're going to skip that setup, and we're going to head back to the plugin page, and then we're going to activate Oxygen. But before I do that, I just want to point out something, and that is that all the pages required for WooCommerce have been created. So that's the great thing about installing WooCommerce, is it creates the pages that you're more than likely going to need for your shop. Now what we'll do is we'll head over then and install Oxygen. So head over to plugins, and now I'm going to activate Oxygen. And what I'm going to do for this demo is just activate the default install. So we'll just confirm and install. And now what's happening is the default install is being loaded, and that's going to be the atomic theme from Oxygen. So while that's loading, let's just go and have a look at the website. And what you're going to notice now is that it has already changed. If we go and have a look at the shop page, which is what we're focusing on, you will see that there are some recent posts on the shop page, which is generally where we would be including the products. And if I click here on that post, you'll see it's just a standard post. So nothing yet happening inside Oxygen. I'm now going to head back to the install, and you'll see now that those pages have been created. If I head over to templates here, you'll see that the basic templates for that theme have been created, and that's why the look and feel here is also slightly different. Now, in order to do a full demonstration on WooCommerce, what we're going to do is we're going to import some demo products. So I'm going to head over here to Tools. I'm going to go to Import. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for WooCommerce Products CSV. We'll run the importer. And then what we do is we go and we choose a file on the hard drive. So I know I've already unzipped my WooCommerce file. So what I can do now is go into the WooCommerce folder, look for sample data, sample products in the CSV format, open, continue. It's a new install. You'll see that the column name and the map to field is completed for you, nothing to do there. Then just run the importer, and the products are then imported for you so that you can start working on your site. So a great way just to get some demo products into the website. If we go and have a look now at the shop, we're still importing, so not sure. You can already see that now on the shop page we do have some of the products coming through, but as you can see, it's not really in a shop format. And if I select a product, you'll see I just get the title and the description, which is the content. So I'm not seeing anything that's really shopping at the moment. What we'll do now is I'm going to head over to Oxygen, and we're going to create our first template. And the first one that we're going to create will be the shop archive. So what we'll do then is we'll add a new template, and let's call it shop archive. We'll inherit the main as normal, and now we'll head over to the archive tab. And what we're going to do is head over to post types, and I'm going to select product, and then under taxonomies I'm going to select all product categories, and I'm also going to select all product tags. So there we have the products and tags. The other very important thing to set would be the template priority. So it takes priority over the standard post template. Make that a number 1, and then we publish. And now when we go and have a look at our shop page, you'll see that we now have a shop. So the shop now is up and running on our page. Now what we're going to do is do the same thing for the individual item. You'll see that on the individual item we still don't have a good layout. So now I'm going to head back to Oxygen. I'm going to head back to templates, or what I can do at the top of the page is simply add new template. And now what I'm going to do is do a shop and single product. So let's go single. And then what we do is we go to main again, and then under singular now I'm going to select products, and then I'm also going to change the template priority to 1. With that in place, we'll publish. And now when we have a look at our single page, you'll see that we have a shop page. So not anything to write home about in terms of formatting, but we do have a functioning shop. So let's head back to the shop page. So there we have our shop, and that's working quite nicely. We do have the pagination to page 2. So there we have the page 2. Let's head back, and we have control of our shop. So that's how that would work. Let's just have a look at a variable product. So we look for select options. In the select options here, you have your option to choose. So that's working. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we can go to a group product, which is this one over here. And we'll see if that's working. And our group product is in fact working. And now what I'm going to do is head down here to, we do have a product. There should be a product here which would be something like, here we go, an affiliate product. Buy on the WordPress swag store. We select that, and you'll see here we redirect it to the swag store. So that's great for affiliate products. So that is working. So I can also then go to the individual page and then buy on the WordPress swag store. So that's working. So we have our affiliate products, we have our single products, we have our variable products, and they're all working. So that's great. We have a working shop. Let's go and have a look at the cart page. So to head to the cart page, let's add cart in the navigation and head to the cart, and you'll see that it's working. It indicates that it's empty. We'll return to the shop, add to cart. Let's go and view the cart, and there you'll see that the cart is working, and we'll proceed to checkout. There's our checkout, and here is the payment method. As we haven't set up a payment method yet, that's not going to work. So the shop is actually fully functioning, bar the basic setups now inside WooCommerce in the WooCommerce settings. So what we're going to do now, just to see how we can maybe pull some of those products through to our home page, if we wanted to create a point of interest. So here's our home page, and what we're going to do now is just have a look and see on the website if that is indeed the home page, or if it's actually pulling through a post. So to do that, we'll just head back to our settings, and then we'll go over to reading, and we'll just make sure that the home page is set. So we look at a static page, we select the home page, and we look for home. And now we've set the home page on the website. So if I head back to the website now and I was to click on the logo, you'll see that we now have this page on the home page. And let's say now I wanted to pull some products into this particular page with these designs. So the first thing that I'm going to do then is head over to Oxygen and edit with Oxygen. We're going to load up the page, and then we're going to do some edits to the page to pull through products to our home page. And bear in mind that the installation that we have of Oxygen is the standard installation, no composite elements, and no WooCommerce add-on. So here we go, and we have a look at our structure. And the first thing that I'll want to do is add a section. So we add our section. And now what I'm going to do is add some WooCommerce products. Now there are two ways to do this. The longer way around would be to actually use the repeater. And to do that, we would advanced helpers, and we look for the repeater. And then inside the repeater, we just go into our layout. We'd make it horizontal because we'd like to allow multi-line perhaps if we have more than one row of products. And then what we have to do is actually go in and set up the repeater query to pull through products. So we'll head over to query. I'm going to go to advanced, and in this case I'm going to use advanced because it does allow, it's easier to manipulate in the future. So the first thing that we do under advanced then is we look for post underscore and we look for post type. So just keep going here, post type, we add a value, and the value there we type in product. So we're going to do an advanced query. We're going to do a post type by product, and we'll add another parameter, and in that we're now going to do the posts per page, and let's set the posts of page per page then to 4. So we'll have 4 products being pulled through, and that'll be enough to get started. So I'm going to close that, and now what I'm going to do is apply the query parameters, but you'll still see that there's nothing to see. What you will see though is that that div is repeated 4 times, which is correct. And what I'm going to do now is just set the width of that div, because we'd like to make it 25% so that we can have 4 equally spaced. And then you'll see here that I do have this pagination showing. So to remove the pagination, we'll head back to the repeater, we head back to the query, we'll edit the query, and now we add another parameter, and that parameter just starts with the word no, and then we look for no found rows, add value, and we set that parameter to true. Right, so now we've set up our query, and you'll see now that there's no, although the pagination shows here, it actually won't show on the front end, and if we apply that query, it's gone. Now let's add that product information. So what I like to do then is just let's add 2 more divs, and we'll just duplicate that. So now inside our div here, let's add the first one. So let's add let's first of all make it a width of 100% so that it fills that gap, and then we're going to add an image. So we'll add an image, and then we'll look for the data, and we're just going to say featured image, and the size we'll just make that large to make sure it fits, and we insert, and now you'll see that we have the product images. To give that a little bit of spacing, I'm going to go to the size and spacing tab and just make that 15 pixels and apply that all around. That way my product is neatly inside its own little box. And then I'm going to set the width of this div also to 100%. Right, so there we have the div, and now let's add a title. So the heading, and let's make the font size of 18, font weight of 500, and then we're going to make this dynamic text. So we'll insert the data, and what we'll do now is we'll make it the title, and we'll click on the link and we'll insert. So now we know that that's going to link through, and then we need to add a button. So let's add a button. There's a button, and let's change the text on there to, let's just say more details, and obviously we want the link then to also go through to the post. So that's the permalink link. Right, so that's been set up, and what I'm going to do now is just make sure everything is centered down the middle, and also then in this div. So there we have it, and then just to make sure that the buttons and the images are aligned, I'm now going to just set the layout to space between, and if I'm not happy with the heading here, I want to maybe have it linked to the image, let's just lift that up to there. Right, and then let's change that div also to center. So there we have our layout, and let's just add a link to the image and close that, and then we go to data and permalink. So now we've also then given our image the link. We'll save that, and let's just go and have a look at that on the front end of the website. So on the front end of our website now, you'll see that we have those products. Now What's not so great about this is there's no pricing, and to get the pricing would require some custom code, and we'll have a look at doing that now. But maybe there's an easier way and a quicker way then to add products, and there is. So what we're going to do is we head over to Google, and we do a search for the standard WooCommerce shortcodes, and we look for shortcodes included with WooCommerce. We select the page, and now when you scroll down, you'll see a whole lot of shortcodes that are ready to be used straight out the box. And what we're specifically looking for is anything to do with listing of products. So if we scroll down here, we can simply copy that shortcode as it is. And now what we're going to do is head over to Oxygen, and head over to the WordPress section, and then look for widget. No, let's look at shortcode, and now just paste in that shortcode, and you'll see that there we have the shortcode being rendered. However, it's not in the correct place, so that's why it's rendering where it is. So we don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do now is just move that shortcode out, and we'll just put that above the repeater. So now we have a shortcode here, and you can see that we now have the product name as well as the buttons for add to cart, which adds that functionality. Here we have the product limit, so we've set 4, columns of 4, order by popularity, class is, you can assign your own classes. So here you can create your own. In this case, it's just the default of quick sale, but you can make your own. And then here on sale is true, but you could quite easily then set that on sale to false. And now it's not only the on sale products. Right, so let's just, I'm going to remove the on sale piece. And there we have our rendering. And now what we can do is head over to the website, and we'll just see how that pulls through. So here we are on the home page, and here we have the various items. If I select add to cart, the item is added to cart and view cart, whereas here I would have to first go to the product page and then be able to add the item to the cart. What's also nice is I'm able in this window here to see that this is an affiliate product, and that's add to cart standard product. Now if I want to change the products that are there, at the moment the product limit, we've got columns of 4, order by popularity. What I can also do then is categories equal, and now I'm going to put in accessories. So now I only want accessories in my listing, and to check if we have the right listing, what we can do is come into the shortcodes here, and you can have a look to see if that is the right way of doing categories. So let's just scroll down, and you'll see in fact it should be category. So the nice thing is that in the documentation it's quite easy to make sure that you've used the correct terms, and of course then it updates immediately. So now I'm just seeing items from category, and we'll save and head over to the website, refresh, and now we have the accessories on our home page. So it does mean in this instance here that you have to do a bit more when it comes to styling. However, with the repeater, there's a little bit more work that has to be done in terms of finding the code in order to display the product pricing and the correct add to cart button. The other thing I'd like to have a look at then while we're here is to head over to Oxygen. We're going to go into settings, and now for styling, what we're going to do is do enable selector detector and save the changes. And just want to have a look and see if Oxygen will then pick up the selectors inside that layout from WooCommerce, and we can maybe then use the selector detector to do the styling. So we're just letting that refresh. The page refreshed, and I'm going to select the item, and now what we're going to do is just head over to advanced, Selector styles, no. So it doesn't look like there's a way to access. Let's style output. Right, so there we go. So that was quite easy to do. So what you do is you simply select style output at the bottom, and then you'll see the selectors will immediately appear here for this content element. So now we have a few options available to us, and as you hover over, you'll actually see what they are in more detail. Now, LI product would be the complete product layout. So what I'm going to do is deselect the items I don't want selected. I'm going to select the item I do want, and then what I'm going to do is head over to advanced typography and set it to center, and now you'll see that I've centered that element. Head back to primary, select the element again, and you'll see here style output. Select style output, and we're back on the product. So now it was very easy to change that styling for that particular element to centered. Let's have a look at our add to cart button. Simply select the add to cart button. So deselect those selectors. I'm going to go over to the button, and you'll see that inside button there is the product type simple, add to cart, and the Ajax add to cart. So with those selected, what I'm going to do now is change the background color. So I'm going to go to advanced, I'm going to go to background color, and I'm going to change that to red. And then what I'm going to do is change the text color to white. So we'll head over to typography. I'm going to change that to white. Right, and maybe when I hover, I want to create a slightly different color. So here in the background, I'm going to make this slightly darker, and then I'm going to change the state to hover, and then I'm going to make that a slightly lighter red, and we'll save that. Head over to the front end of the website, and now you'll see that we have these nicely centered, and when I hover over the button, you'll actually see that the color changes. When I click add to cart, the add to cart is working and view cart is showing. So much easier for styling and to get up and going, to just go straight with the shortcode from WooCommerce and then do your styling via the style selector. So that makes it really easy. If there was something else that you wanted to do, let's have a look. Let's click on style output again, and now what I'm going to do is click on the sale button. So can we change the on sale button? So let's do this, and now what I'm going to do is change the on sale background, and let's make that color red. So that's not working, so let's go back to the selector, so back to sale, and now what I'm going to do, style output again. Right, we're on sale. There was also a span, so now you'll see I've selected the on sale and the spam. And let's just go in and see if here we can change the background color. So no, there's no way to change the background color of the on sale item here. Let's just try one more idea. So I'm going to select sale, style output, and here we have the span and on sale. And there doesn't look like anything here that we can do, but we can then change that using a custom style. So let's save that, and let's just refresh this page. And now what I'm going to do is head over to the shop page again and see if any of these styles had an effect on the shop page. So let's over to the shop. So right here we are on the shop, and you'll see that those style actions did actually take effect. So now we have a nicely set up page with item centered. So a lot more that can be done in respect to the layout here. The next thing we're going to have a look at is individual product. So I'm on the individual product page, and what we'll do now is follow a similar methodology, and what we'll do now is actually go and style the let's just get out of here. And what we're going to do now is actually style that single page. So shop single, and we'll open. We don't have another instance of WooCommerce open. Of Oxygen open. Sometimes get that message. Right, so we're just waiting for that to load up, and then we'll come in and just style these items a little bit differently. You'll also see here that the styling has taken effect in the related products. So here we are, and you'll see once again, in this case, we don't have anything in the layout section of the page. And if we were to add something to this section, then of course that would overwrite what's on the individual product page. So in this case, what we're going to have to do then is do the styling via a style sheet in the more traditional way. And to do that, we would need to right click on an element, do an inspection, get the style, and then go and create a new style for that element. So in this case, if we clicked on the heading, it's an H1, but it's the product title. Simply selecting the plus button here, and there we have the name of the style. And if you were to enter some details here, let's make that 16 pixels. So you can see how that changes the size of the text. So let's not make that too big. So let's make that 40, and let's change the font weight, and let's make that 500. So there we have a slightly better looking title. And then what we do with the style now is we copy that style, and what I'm going to do now is go back to Oxygen. So here I am in Oxygen, and I'm going to go to Manage and Style Sheets, and here we have Style Sheets, and I'm going to add a new style sheet, and we'll just call this Custom Woo. Okay. No spaces allowed in the name, so let's go Custom Woo. Right, there it is, and I can simply paste in the styles here. I can then save, head over to my website, and then refresh. And now you'll see that that style is in fact now being applied that we just created. Let's just make sure everything else is still working. So we head over to the home page. Yes, the styles are as we had them. Let's go over to the shop page. And yes, the styles are the same. So if we wanted to style the button, we'd need to get the colors here. So there are two things that we need to do. The first thing is we need to get the right selector for the single product. And we know it's different because it's in purple. So what I'm going to do then is inspect that button and hit the plus. And now what I'm going to do is copy that into Oxygen, and that will be the beginning of the next style. And then I'm going to get the colors. To get the colors, what I need to do is head over to the shop and then select a button, and just wait for that. So we've selected the button, and we're told that there's no matching selector or style, which is incorrect. Let's just refresh the page, and there you can see the selectors coming through. So inspect the button, and there we'll see that the background color when it's in its normal state is that color and the font color of white. So we'll copy that, head over to Oxygen, and just paste that in. Now what we need to do is get the hover color. So fortunately there's a way to do that as well, and by right clicking on that selector, I force state and I say hover, and now you'll see that the color has changed on that button. We forced the hover state, and there I'm going to copy that color. And now what I'm going to do is just paste it there for now. Then I'll go back into the actual item. I'm going to right click on that button, and we're going to force the state to hover. And here you'll see that highlighted state here has the color. So what I'll do then is I'll head back into Oxygen, paste that in, and just include our background color. Indent that. Right, and now we'll save. And now when we head back to the single page, we should have a red button. There we have it, and we hover and it goes to the lighter red. So that's how we can adjust that style. The other thing that we need to consider, of course, with all of this is going to be the mobile view. So let's have a look at the individual product page then in mobile view, and you'll see, right, everything's there. Some of the items are a little bit big. So you'll see here like related products, slightly large heading, description, and all these tabs are doing some odd things, but they do work. So as you can see, we need to make some changes here to the titles just to make it look a bit better. So the first thing I'm going to do here is have a look at this beanie with logo, and we'll inspect that, and you'll see that here we have that same class that we looked at earlier, which is product type, entry title. If I go back here, you'll see that it's over there. So now we have to just make a class for the mobile view. So to do that, we say at media, and we then enter, so at media. Right, so here we're going to stipulate the breakpoint for the mobile view. So we'll just head back here, and if we have a look at our style, there are no styles set for anything at the moment. What we're going to do now is set a max width. So by setting the max width, anything less than that will get the style, and we'll 768 pixels. And now what we're going to do is take that same styling, but we're only going to look at the font size, and we're going to make that 22 pixels. Save. And when we head over now to our product page, you'll see that the beanie with logo is a lot smaller. You can of course add background colors and all kinds of other things to your headings, but try to keep it as simple as possible. That's always best. If you wanted the information centered, that can also be done, and there we would just move up to this section here, and we could either center everything, or we could just go along and have a look at perhaps centering the logo on its own. Now if you have a look here, you'll see that we do have that style listed here, and what we can do then is do a width 100% and text align and make that center, and there you'll see that the logo is now aligned in the center. We can just copy our style from there, head over and paste that in, and now you'll see that when we refresh that style is applied and the logo is centered. So you could have a look at doing similar things, for example with the pricing, that could also be aligned in the center, to have a look and see what classes are used. So we see here that we're looking at the price class, and we can then also plus, and now what we can do is go with the width of 100% and then text align and center that. So there you can see you have the pricing aligned in the center. And now I'm going to head back to Oxygen, and in that mobile section also just type that in. So that's pretty much how you do it, and the same then applies as you go down through the page. So one that we do need to change here is this related products, because it really messes things up. And you'll see here that we're in related products and we're looking at the H2. So let's go with a font size. And let's make that. So these are just quick fixes that you can apply, and then we can also look at a font weight of 500. So this is just some coding on the go. There are better ways that you can use to make sure that all the fonts resize with different screen sizes. However, for this demo, we're just going to go with the basics here, and we'll make that margin bottom of 20 pixels. So there we have our related products, and maybe in this case we want to look at a background. So let's look at a background color, and let's make that a light gray. And what we can also do then is give it a border, and then we would go 1 pixel solid, and let's make it just slightly darker, and I think we're done. We might want to drop down that spacing a little bit so that it's more in line with the other spacing on the page. So you can use your arrow key, down key, then to adjust the spacing to what you want. We'll leave it at 15. And now what we'll do is we'll copy that, but now we know that it's inside related products. So we head over here and we paste in what we have, and what we can do now to make sure it only applies to related products. So there we have the related products. We'll save that, head over to the website, refresh, and now let's just refresh that, and that should be applied. Let's just have a look. It's not related dash products, it's just related. Save, refresh, and there you see the different styling is applied. So that's pretty much how you would go then through each piece in the mobile view and just do the styling. So it does mean a lot more work because the styling has to be done from the front end in the traditional view, but you can create a pretty good mobile looking view. Let's go and have a look now at how the site does on mobile in terms of the products. So if you're looking at the home page, you'll see that the home page is looking great. If we look at the repeater, we would of course now have to go in and restyle that repeater for the mobile view. And if we look at the shop page, so let's go to the shop and scroll down, and you'll see that the shop actually looking fine, nicely laid out. So not much, you can use the styling straight out the box in so to speak, or you can come in and do some of your own changes here if you'd like to. Now the nice thing about the shop is that whatever we apply on the home page styles then gets applied in the shop. And on the home page we can make use of the selector. If we look at what we have on the archive page in Oxygen, you'll see that it looks pretty much the same as what we had on the page within the single product. So here we are, we go to the shop archive, edit with Oxygen, and now you'll see that we also have a very empty looking space on the archive page. So let's just let that load up, and you'll see here that's all that's in that template at the moment. So nothing to view there and nothing to do. Any styling that you'd want to do here you'd need to do from the front end, but the nice thing is that whatever the changes are that we make to the layout on the home page here with the style selector also apply. If we wanted to make adjustments now on the home page, we'll head over to Oxygen, edit with Oxygen, that'll load up, and what we need to address here is just the mobile view for the for the repeater section, and we saw here that everything's a little bit squashed up. So to change that, what we do it in the standard way. We head over to our oxygen selector, we change the screen width, and now we can see what's happening there. If we wanted to replicate above, we could make it two next to each other as well. So now what we need to do is change that div width. So let's change that and make that 50%. So now you can see that we have a similar layout just by changing that div width. We head over, refresh, and there we have those items styled differently. So yes, you can add Oxygen to, a WooCommerce to Oxygen. You don't need to have the Oxygen add-on. It does make things a lot easier in certain cases, but Oxygen and WooCommerce do work well together straight out the box. So that's just a brief overview, introduction. I hope you enjoyed that video, and thank you for watching.